Hi everyone, LazyFire here. Welcome back to the Hate the Player podcast. We haven't done one of these in a while, mostly because scheduling issues, and Three Toes is on murder trial. Um,
Confirmed.
I should say he's not on trial for murder. He is actually like part of a jury for a murder trial. So hopefully we'll be able to hear about the case once he's come back to us, which may be as early as the next recording. But he was supposed to finish that up last week, and hopefully it's done now. Anyways, Arnold, you are here, though. Arnold, are you here?
I'm sorry. I was playing Fallout 4.
Yeah. A lot of my friends list looks like that right now. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. The day after it came out of the literally like 100 people on, I think 70% of them were playing Fallout 4.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, day one. But that is kind of the main thrust of what I want to talk about today is Fallout 4, because both you and I picked it up, and I was just like, day before, I was like, you know what, I have this fucking discount for Green Man Gaming. They're going to give me Fallout, and it's going to be like 40% off. I will take that bet. Whatever. And so I picked it up for fairly cheap. I almost picked up the season pass because I think I've mentioned it a couple dozen times, but I live up in New England and not overly far from Boston. And so I was like, in my mind, like, what would be really cool is if they had a DLC pack, when that comes out, that brought them down where I live. Because between the Coast Guard Academy, the sub base, where I work, and like all the historical sites down here, it'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, it seems obscure enough that they do it too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they set Fallout 3 in Washington, and one of their DLC packs was the pits. Yeah, that was
Pittsburgh.
It's like
which didn't look like Pittsburgh at all, but whatever.
No,
whatever. I mean,
no one wants to see what real Pittsburgh looks like.
Hey! This game, like, honestly, I went in this game not knowing anything about it, and then I heard a Boston accent. I'm like, oh no, oh no! They picked the asshole of the United States.
Masshole. Thank you.
God.
Listen, killing radioactive Tom Brady fanboys is like the
I
best
swear to
thing.
God, if there's a Tom Brady reference in here, I'll lose my shit. Like,
within a couple days, somebody modded in a David Ortiz jersey you could wear.
Oh my! Have you seen the John Cena mod for the Fat Man the Fat Man?
Oh, I have not.
It fires a teddy bear, and when it explodes, it goes John Cena.
I saw the one where you fire your infant son as the Murph.
What?
Yeah, you fire the baby. It's pretty
baby launcher.
The baby launcher,
my God.
And it blows up as a nuke, and it's great. That's actually a lesson on what being a parent is. Just basically launching
pretty
fucking
much
horrible bullshit into the air. So let's talk a little bit about the setting of the game, because we already talked a bit about it. It's in pre and then post-apocalyptic Massachusetts.
Right.
And you do go to Boston at some point, which is called Diamond City.
And it's it's pretty cool when you realize that it's set inside Fenway. What is it? Fenway Park?
Fenway. Yep.
Yeah, Fenway. But of course, it's not called that. It's just generic baseball stadium.
Yes, they did a pretty good job of keeping some of that stuff out of there.
Yeah, the place is called the place around it is called the Fens.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've played a number of hours. I haven't played as many as you, but I have never even made it that far. I have not even gotten to Diamond City.
Oh, dude, this game is the most ADHD friendly game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes, that's a pretty good point. Because I love this. This is what I really liked about the game so far. All the useless shit that was in Fallout 3 and New Vegas that you could pick up, like, a tin can. I will never need this, but I could trade it for, like, a cap, right? You can go and pick all that shit up, and you can turn it into armor or mods or weapon stuff or houses.
Like, you scavenge. You literally scavenge for a reason.
It was that is probably their best move. It does make me put like all my points into strength because so let's actually, before we start talking about that, let's talk about the leveling up system in the game. And if you haven't played the game, this is going to be kind of weird, but in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and the previous Fallout games, but I'm just going to go off of the more recent memories I have. You'd start off the game with your special system. You have your different categories:
Right.
strength, perception, intelligence, blah blah blah. That's how you spell special. And each one of those corresponds to a different thing, and then you'd pick a trait and then a perk, right?
Right.
And then every 3 levels you'd get a new perk, and then every level you would put points based on your intelligence, how many points you get, into different categories.
Right.
And all your different things meant you could do different things in the world. Like if you had extra strength, you could carry more, but you could also brute force some things, right?
Exactly.
So in this game, special is you still set up your special at the start, but when you're not like locked into that, because as you progress each level, you can put a star, let's call it that because that's what it's represented
Right.
by, into not only your special system but into perks that are down there that you can access based on what level your special stuff is at. So you can start the game off with 3 strength, and then in your first level put 4 strength, and then for
Yeah.
your second level you could put in like the gun nut perk, so you can do different things at the expense of, say, having charisma go up. So it's really interesting because it doesn't limit you in what you can do down the road. Because I remember a lot of times, and the points into different things are completely gone, replaced by those upgrades.
Mhm.
So instead of like putting a dozen points into small like guns or something like that, and you get like minor increases in what you can do, you get a straight 20% increase in one weapon category.
Right. Which
So
I actually just branched into rifles, because I usually spend most of my early points doing like lock picking and computer skills and all that.
Yeah.
So you can access everything as you find it. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
really
now
annoying.
started doing damage, things like that. And dude, those damage bonuses are massive.
Yeah,
Like,
the 20%
It's
is
huge.
20% start off, and then you can actually see what the next few levels will give
Right.
you by
It,
hitting
it ends
alt.
up doubling.
Yeah,
And I'm at
it goes
six-
crazy.
I'm at 60%, and it kind of feels like cheating.
Yeah, and the fun thing is that the game gives you a lot of opportunities to do that, but it gives you a lot of reasons not to do that.
Exactly.
Like, it gives you a lot of options. If you were really in one of those things where it's like, I need to deal a ton of damage, yes, as long as you have the levels, because you access each one of those things based on your level and what status you're or what the overarching status is. So if you're in strength or something like that, you need to be level 13 plus you have to have strength whatever
Right.
to put a second star into Pack Mule or whatever. So it's not like you can just go in and go, well, I'm level 3 and I put 3 stars into Gun Nut and now I can do everything. You have to have your intelligence up and you have to have your level to a point where you can access it.
Right.
And I think that's actually a pretty good balance system.
I've actually found a lot of the high level perks are really not that impressive. I mean, I can looking at I actually have the perk thing up and I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, looking at them, yeah, there are some cool ones, but there's nothing that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have that. I absolutely have to have that. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And there's my really my favorite part of that whole thing is that when you go into that menu, you don't feel like you're being forced down any specific path ever. Because there are times in Fallout 3, this is especially true. Because if you spend a lot of the game like I did, putting levels into guns because you hadn't picked up laser weapons yet, and then you get a laser weapon, and you're like, well, I have 3 more levels before I'm max level, and I just found the first laser gun in the entire game.
Right.
Like, because I barely touched the main quest in Fallout 3 until I had done almost all of the side quests that were available to me. And it was like, the max level in Fallout 3 was like 20. I'm already like level 16 in this, and there's no max level. So, like, I don't feel like I'm being forced down a path to go, like, fuck around in Boston.
Right.
I actually went up into the northeastern corner of the map, which turns out to be
Yeah,
like
that's. I'm pretty sure that's a high
that's
level area, dude.
yeah, it is because I fought two death claws, including an alpha.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wandered up there early on, and I got hit by people apparently who worshipped the atom bomb.
yeah, the Brotherhood of the Light or whatever.
Children of the Atom, and they shoot. They have radiation weapons,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
are
those
pretty
guys.
cool, but really inaccurate.
I just, yeah, it's really neat. Just the stuff that's in the game, the places you can go, and the enemies you can fight. I never feel like I'm stuck fighting the same fight over and over again either. The one thing I really wish they would do, and I've had this issue with almost all of Bethesda's games in the last 10 years, is that when you clear out like a dungeon or a cave or whatever, that they would eventually, if you've been away for long enough, restock it with enemies. Because it feels like some of the cooler places you
I thought
can go.
they did. I could have swore that I went back somewhere and there were people again.
I get cleared messages and
Yeah,
then it never pops back up.
I don't know.
But maybe I haven't played long enough.
Maybe. I do not know, but I could have swore there was somebody I cleared out, or somewhere I cleared out, that I went back and there were dudes again. But
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it's a glitch. I don't know.
maybe. Well, outside in the main world, they repopulate, which is, and you can always there's infinite quests you can pick up from people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I noticed they had the Sky. There are a lot of Skyrim things in this.
Yes,
Which I mean, for better or worse, I think it's mostly for better.
Yep.
By and large, for better.
Yeah, I would say so. I think they learned a lot with Skyrim in terms of making a really big game world. And this is, someone said, "Oh, I can run across this in 17 minutes diagonally," and I'm
Wow.
like, "Yeah, there's a sprint button in this game."
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But I never feel compelled to not fast travel when I've like cleared an area and I want to go back to one of my settlements. And I don't think that's like an indictment on the world as a whole. I just feel like it's enough territory to go through, and I get way too easily distracted.
Oh God. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right. So I was wandering around the southwestern, well, no, more western edge of the map, because the southwest bit is an irradiated wasteland, which is actually one of the. It's a really fucking interesting place.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of off the map.
Really?
Yeah. The boundaries of the map aren't really the boundaries of the map in the southwest.
Neat.
Yeah. So there's more. Minor spoiler, I guess. But anyway, I run into this dude with a power armor with fucking racing flame, with like you know how there are hot rods. This guy's got like fucking
Yeah.
racing flame like power armor, and he's like, "Oh, hey, cat." Like he's talking like a 1950s drag racer. And he's like, "Nice plates," because I was walking around in my my power armor. And so he's like, "Oh, here, I'll put the location of my thing on your map." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, I'm gonna walk over to that place on the other side of the map. So 4 hours and 3 side quests later, and when I say 4 hours and 3 side quests later, like I was walking on my way there, and I run into a fucking talking fridge. And I'm like, huh?
Game.
I'm like, what? Huh? And I don't want to spoil it, but it was a really interesting quest.
Yeah.
Because the reason why the fridge is quote unquote talking is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
it's a very Fallout quest in what you can do. And one of the options involves selling a child into slavery.
Yes. Perfect.
So
Fuck those kids.
yes, so it's great. I really can't say how much I enjoy the game. Like the we were talking about this before the podcast. The one of the first missions in the game, like 5 minutes into it, you get power armor, and you're like, and I was like, I'm like, oh God, really already? And then, but what I didn't realize is it's the old like T-45, the old like Fallout 3 armor.
The pre-war armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you get in it. You get a minigun too.
Yep.
And then you jump off a fucking roof. You do like the little Iron Man pound the ground thing. Then you just mow down a bunch of raiders, and then a Deathclaw comes out and you kill that too. And it's like, holy shit, this is awesome.
I love the part where I don't know if you saw it. You can walk through the barricades in the power armor, the sandbags.
Oh, really?
But you can get an ability later on where you can damage enemies by sprinting into them in
Right.
power
You have
armor.
to. I think you have to have like really high strength.
Yeah, it has to be almost max, I think. But like that's yes, perfect. I want to smash people into fucking atoms by running into them
Exactly.
in power armor.
There's also the everything is super customizable. Like I was disappointed about the power armor. Well, here's the thing: that power armor, you can modify it, you can paint it, you can make it have like you can do all sorts of different modifications to it. Left arm, left leg, right leg, torso, and helmet are all separate parts, which is one of the things that I really missed from all of the Elder Scrolls games. Because
Yeah.
one of my favorite things in any of the Elder Scrolls game was Morrowind. You could customize the shit out of everything. You could have a fucking skirt. You could have left pauldron, right glove,
Yep.
left glove, torso, left greave, right boot,
Yeah.
left boot.
They went nuts in
Yeah.
Morrowind, and then they
Yeah.
kind of scaled it. It's like you bought boots.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Oblivion, they really scaled it down and all that. And this is the first time that I felt like since Morrowind that it's accessible. There aren't 1,000 different pieces, but it's super customizable. So you can
Yeah.
so you've got your power armor suit, and you want to have a T-51 helmet and T-45 leg on the left and a T-51 leg on the right. Go ham. Do whatever you want. It's great.
Yeah.
You can mix and match power armor. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
It's great. You can do that with every bit of armor.
Yeah.
You can do that with all the things on your guns. And it's just like, this is exactly what people, when they talk about options, this is the kind of shit that people want. They want to have the ability to modify basically anything they're going to put on themselves in these games.
Yeah.
And you can really do it in this game. And my favorite thing about it, actually, has been discovering legendary enemies and getting the pieces of stuff they drop.
And the
Because
game,
some of that stuff is great.
oh my God, the game gives you a reason to play on harder difficulties. Because a lot of the really hard legendary guys won't appear until hard difficulty, and the higher difficulty you do, the more chance they have to appear.
Yeah.
And the legendary weapons, some of them can be bad, but some of them are really fucking good. Like there's this gun. It's called a laser musket, and you wind
Yeah.
it, you hand crank
Wind
it
it. Yeah.
to load each charge into it.
I thought that was great.
And I mean, that number one, really creative weapon. I mean, it's perfect. It touches back to the Revolutionary War theme with the whole Minutemen thing. Minutemen are basically the Boston defenders of it, just like in the Revolutionary War. And they use muskets and laser musket. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so I didn't really touch it after the first mission, but customization, I got a legendary one that fires 2 projectiles. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. So I modify it to store 6 shots. Like so when you choose your power on each shot, you hit reload for each one. So okay, reload. You hit it 6 times, 6 charges, and each time the little canister on it gets like higher pitched. So it's like, and it goes like you can tell you're gonna fuck something up when you shoot it. So I turned like one of the lowest kind of weapons into like the tier 1 ace sniper rifle that dissolves anything it shoots at from a mile away.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
God.
It does, I think, base 80 damage times 6 times whatever the stealth modifier is times whatever the headshot multiplier is. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
It's great. Like it's one of those things where you just pick up things and you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? And I got a leg piece that slowed down time if I got below 20% health.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which came in handy when I walked into a super mutant camp where they all had missile launchers.
Oh God. Oh God.
It was amazing. So I don't know. I also picked up a gun early on from a legendary that was it was like a 38 pipe rifle,
Mm.
and I have not taken that off my hotbar yet because I put a heavy receiver on it, so it does basically double damage from when I found it, but it does radiation damage as well, or plasma
Oh
damage,
man. Oh man.
and I basically have unlimited nuclear materials. But I put like all sorts of shit on it, and it's got like compensators, and it's got the reflex sight, which is actually just two screws inserted into a can with fucking nuclear paint on it.
I killed a ghoul, and I got a. Oh my god, what was it? It was an automatic. God, it was something with a really dumb rate of fire. No, it was a 10 mil handgun
Yep.
that did 50 extra radiation damage a shot.
Holy shit!
Well,
Was that a
so
100% chance?
yeah. So,
Oh my God.
So, I pick it up. I'm like, oh man, I was in Mumble with a couple of guys who were playing Fallout 4, and I pick it up. I don't save. I get rocketed 30 seconds later. I'm dead. I lose it. And it's not a persistent spawn. It's a random chance from each legendary.
Oh.
So I go back. I do it again. I get a 2-shot laser rifle. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. Get rocketed again before I can save. So I go back again. Legendary creature isn't there. So I guarantee they've got something in there to prevent saves coming.
Yep. I bet.
Which I support. I mean,
I think that's brilliant. Yeah. I gotta say, one of my the early memorable moment in that game for me was the first time I went to Lexington. Because you start off in Concord, where you get the power armor, and then they send you to Lexington eventually, which is the next big city nearby. And I was there because one of the characters out in the wasteland was like, the raiders took my sister, and they want a bounty of 300 caps. I don't have 300 caps. I had like 800 caps at that point in the game. I was an hour in, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay that. I'm gonna go fuck some raiders up. So I go there, and one of the dudes has power armor on, and I'm like, well, this can't be good. And then he also has a fat man, which I didn't see.
womp, womp.
He nuked me like 5 times because I was point blank. There was nowhere else for me to go, so I just got nuked over and over again. And
Welcome
finally,
to the real world.
Yeah, finally, he fired on me, and I was in a spot where he couldn't hit me. And he killed all his friends. And he also killed the sister.
Womp.
But that guy, whenever I go back to him, still says, "You really helped us out. Thank you so much. We would have been dead without you." And it's like, there is one person living here. Who is we? But yeah, like, the quest the game gives you and the enemies you go up against, the fact that, you mentioned you can get power armor within like 5 minutes of the game starting if you really, well, like 35 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
But that power armor, it's not like power armor in all the other Fallout games where you just put it on, it's like, this is it, I'm done.
Yep.
Like, you can't get better armor. It's more of a, like, they described it as a vehicle because it has fuel to it. Like, you have to have fusion cells.
Yeah, fusion cores, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a gun that actually uses fusion cores for ammo, too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Is that a radiation gun?
No, it's a laser gun. It's a laser Gatling.
Ooh, I haven't found that yet.
When you
That
get
sounds like a
further in
Brotherhood
and
of
you
Steel thing.
find Brotherhood of Steel people. Oh, and that's another great thing. Later in, you'll have Brotherhood of Steel doing Brotherhood of Steel things, and they'll have a vertibird that just lands and starts fucking up a bunch of super mutants or raiders, and they'll get fucked up too. And then it's like, oh, free loot.
Yeah, free stuff.
Yep.
Have you seen the video a guy did of 100 Brotherhood of Steel guys versus 1,000 Death Claws?
What? Really?
Yeah. There's also a video the same guy did of all the legendary enemies, or all the legendary NPCs in the game versus each other.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
I think they're actually on the game page in Steam. They're both pretty great. I highly suggest the Death Claws versus Brotherhood of Steel, because the Brotherhood of Steel lasts a surprisingly long time. Like, I think up until the last Death Claw, there's still at least one guy going to town. But no, like, that game is just, It's fun to play. I haven't encountered any game-breaking bugs yet. I've seen people who have, and I'm not going to deny that they're probably out there. I did have a couple of funny ones. One point, I was fighting a rad scorpion, and when I aimed down sights, I teleported to in front of the rad scorpion from like 20 feet away until I was on top of him. And I was just like, I don't even understand how that just happened. I'm not overly worried about it. I'm just going to run away. And I did. Then I later actually, because the mole rats and the rad scorpions now have the ability to burrow and then burst out. A rad scorpion burst out in a bad spot, and it sent him flying like 20 feet into the air, just like all ragdolled. Still had to fight him though. He didn't die. Um, like that's all I've really seen that's been terrible at the moment. Some people are saying that they will like go and sit down to go to a computer terminal or something like that and get stuck at it and not be able to get out.
Right.
But the game does autosave pretty often. If you look at your Pip-Boy not in combat, it'll autosave. If you enter a building or leave a building, it'll autosave. It does a pretty good job of making sure that you're not going to lose too much if you are playing like I do, which is paranoid. Um, but I wanted to talk a bit about performance because that has been kind of a thing. I had turned God Rays basically off every single time I've played.
Yeah?
I don't know about you, because they're basically useless. And on the Xbox 360 or Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it's been reported that if you aim down sights, you can lose like up to 15 frames at a time.
Really?
Yeah, it's not pretty. Some of the videos that have come out. I'm not going to say it's universal because it seems to be kind of by chance.
I've noticed some hitching, but I haven't had any real frame rate issues, and I'm running 1440 with about the same video card you are.
Yeah, I'm running ultra everything 1080p.
I'm running high everything 1080p because I've only got a 2 gig card. So
yeah, 4 gigs, well 3.5, but oh Nvidia. Yeah, honestly, I turned some of the stuff down to high at times just to see what the difference is. By the way, Bethesda still has the worst fucking interface for changing settings, which is before you get into the game, you need to change your settings.
Yeah.
You can't change your graphic settings in the game because they did not expect anyone to be able to do that.
We didn't. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just going ADD for a minute. You reminded me of something else.
Okay.
We didn't really touch on player customization either.
Yeah, there is a lot of options. People made Beavis and Butthead. They've made John Cena. They made Louis C.K.
I got a Hitler sent to me within an hour of the game coming out.
Of course.
Yep. And it was a damn good Hitler. I'm like, oh wow. Like, damn. Like,
you've been practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good, and I really like how they did the player customization, because instead of like going, what do you look like, you stand in front of the mirror and you can pick either the husband or wife, and then you can change how they both look, even though the one you don't pick kind of goes away pretty quickly.
Yep. Spoiler alert.
Well,
I mean,
it's not really. It's in every fucking review.
You kind of know that they're going to eat it right away.
I already know where this game is going.
Yeah, exactly.
I already know where this story is, because within about 5 seconds of the opening plot twist, if you will, like you get frozen in the vault, then you get unfrozen, something happens, then you get frozen again. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, so that's how the game's going to be. I already knew like the end game of this game because I've seen media before. And then I got it spoiled for me on Reddit, and I was like, that's exactly where I thought this was going. Fantastic. It's very easy to guess. I'm not gonna spoil it.
I think you just gave it away.
I don't know if that's true yet or not.
I think you may have just. I haven't done the main quest, but yeah.
It makes total sense, doesn't it?
I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I haven't finished the main quest, but now I
haven't touched it.
Now I think I've killed my son.
Um, also, how many drugs have you given the old woman?
One.
Oh, really? I gave her like three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very giving. When it comes to drugs, I take off dead raiders. I guess.
Oh, I've got. I usually sell the drugs because I never use them.
Yeah. The big thing I'm really not enjoying, if I have to pick something, is that there are just not enough traders in non-city areas
Well,
or the
gee golly,
non-city.
gee golly, I'm looking at the 5 traders I have in my settlement.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been able to get Man of the People up to level 2 or whatever it is.
Oh well, sorry for you.
Yeah, yeah. It's not my own fault that
And
I.
honestly, yeah, one of the complaints that I guess quote unquote complaints I have is that I didn't realize the special system was different. So charisma was usually my garbage stat that I would
Yeah,
take from to put in
yeah,
everything else, like because you could put points in speech. I'm like, oh, where's speech?
yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
So now
Uh-oh.
8 levels have gone into charisma. So I'm hoping they
Yeah,
come out with a character trainer soon. Um,
yeah, that'd be
because
nice.
because I want to respect my character. I don't want to cheat. I just want to respec it to something else because intelligence is nowhere near the god stat that it used to be.
Oh yeah, where you could just get like a million points and then
Mm-hmm.
just throw them everywhere you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was actually my plan early on in the game because I
Right.
didn't know about how the system worked.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things they really don't do in that game is explain, oh, basically anything,
Yeah.
like at all. And this is actually funny because people are complaining like I didn't know how to build a settlement, and some of those people are the same people who are like fucking quest markers telling you exactly where to go and like this
Right.
shit, and it's like I remember writing shit down in the Morrowind days so I wouldn't have to go look through my quest book. And it's like, all right, dude, figure it out. There's actually a tutorial for building settlements, believe it
Mm-hmm.
or not. It's just hidden between like 50 layers of bullshit. um so yeah, yeah, they don't do a great job of explaining how the special system's going to work when you first start the game. I do
Yeah.
like that there are still the bobbleheads to raise your stats by a point, and there are so you can just pick those up. But there's also still the books, the magazines that are around,
That
and that
that
can.
don't add the skill points anymore, but instead add kind of little like bonuses to things. Like you get 5% better prices.
Mhm. Where
So
you, yeah, they're actually really nice. They basically give you a free star in one of the categories in the game. Um, there's a lot to like about the game overall. I think my big complaint about the game was because I went into that the high enemy volume, high level area
yep.
early on, and I think that's
Rip.
where most of my because I was like, no, I didn't die up there, believe it or not.
Wait, what? Really?
I Yeah, when those death claws came, I was up in Lynn's Wood,
Hmm.
and I got into the tower, and I just didn't come out of the tower because I'm like, they can't get up here, and so I waited till they got far enough away that I was hidden, and then I would sneak attack them for double damage. They'd run back, they'd do the same cycle over
Oh
and
my
over.
god, yeah. Yeah,
It
I
took
did
me
that
about 10 minutes to get out of that tower.
too.
Um, and then later on, there was another death claw, and so I lured him over to the mental hospital that's up there that I'm sure plays a part in the game later on,
uh,
and I had the guards there kill him. And it's like, yeah, I can figure this out. I can work this. And then I almost got blown up by a rocket launcher on a bridge. So,
yep.
you know. But like the fact that it doesn't restrict you to an area, the fact that you can kind of wander around and just figure out, am I good enough for this? I wasn't
You're good
figuring that
enough.
out. I wasn't figuring out if I was ready for it because I was like, I got plenty of ammo. And then by the end, I'm just like switching between guns for each firefight, hoping that somebody has like 38 rounds so I can get to the next fight.
Yeah.
I had to abandon going through a base so I could go and get ammo in another area.
There's definitely a an ammo struggle early on. You will have not a good time looking for ammo.
I picked there are two luck perks. One of them is about picking up extra ammo, and the other one is about
I try to avoid
Can't
those
remember.
ones because you know at the end of the game you're going to have a
Caps.
shitload of everything.
Yeah, but I really like having a lot of ammo, and I have like a 45 rifle that's really good, and I was avoiding using it, and then I pulled it out to fight a super mutant, and I'm like, I have 400 rounds of ammo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
That's the 45 got me through the levels of the game, but now I just sell it. I
yeah,
found a 10 millimeter pistol that's
yeah,
a two shot that is actually my highest DPS weapon
uh-huh.
outside of that crazy sniper rifle. It does 40 damage a shot and it fires 120 rounds a minute. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's really good. And that's sorry, I just ran.
What?
Um,
Arnold?
yeah,
Arnold?
I'm playing right now. Sorry,
Oh.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
Um, what was I saying?
You were talking about your pistol that
Oh
does
yeah,
40 damage?
yeah. And anyway, but the pistol is a starting weapon. But I'm a level 35 or something, and I'm still using it. It's good,
Yeah.
And I don't know that to me is a sign of good customization.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean,
I think the customization in picking up enemy weapons that have been customized in interesting ways,
mhm.
that really adds a lot to it. It gives me a reason to go into combat. And cause like I don't think you or I are really going to play that game as the charisma heavy guy who's like never going to get into a fight or anything like that. You and I both kind of like go
Exactly.
fuck it, we're going to kill everything.
Right.
Yeah.
However, with the way settlements are set up, your settlements are limited in size by your charisma.
Yep.
So it's 10 people plus one more person for your charisma. So I went from having a 2 charisma, and now I've got an 8. So because I like having slaves,
Yeah. That is always good.
so it makes me happy. And charisma really does do a lot for you in this game.
Yeah.
It's probably the best overall stat because it can make you money, it can save you money. You can get a bunch of stuff with it. You can avoid fights if you want to, pussy.
What's
And
the one?
and it
There's a late.
opens up trading and makes base building way less tedious.
Yeah. What's the later game perk that allows you to aim your gun at an enemy and
It's
if
the
you're
level 10 charisma thing.
yeah.
You can aim a gun. You can intimidate people that are lower level than you if you aim your gun at them.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic.
So
Like I remember in Oblivion at the very least you could parley with people if they were attacking you.
mhm.
And it never worked because I would never pick a speech thing, so what did it matter? But like, it's kind of nice that it's there, and then you can just murder them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like the game is. I really wanted to play it more this weekend, but I told you I signed up for a bit of overtime because why not? Because free
Nerd.
money, extra money. They like paying me a lot over there. That turns out to be a really big reason why I show up to work every day. And
It's good.
bragging. I'm gonna brag. But like I was looking forward to playing it yesterday, and then I didn't do that because I went out with friends, and then like
Nerd.
I've actually been thinking about it. Like I really want to play this game, like bad. When I am at work or whatever, I'm like, I really wish I was home playing Fallout, and I actually got a lot of hours in with it because it came out on that Tuesday. And the next day was Veterans Day, and I had that off from work, and
Ah,
so I played till my eyes bled. Day one, like Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, just constant play. So I like, man, it's got the same issue I have with every sandbox game though, and it's not really an issue with the game; it's an issue with how I play things. I have to discover all the things.
so
I
you'll
have
never
to,
finish them ever.
yeah, I will never finish the main quest. Like I said, I got to level 20 in Fallout 3 before I started the main quest. I got to Megaton, and that was like, go find your dad, go to Megaton. Okay. And then, like, 78 hours later of gameplay, I'm like, maybe I should do something besides kill all of the things. And, like, found out about Project Purity from there. And it's like, I didn't actually finish that game now that I think about it.
Project Purity.
Yeah, that was the thing to clean the water in DC.
Sure that isn't a. Oh, I was gonna say it sounded like a white
That's
nationalist.
Oh, I thought it sounded like a crazy Christian right wing sort of like
Oh yeah,
marriage
chastity
pact.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. You get a silver ring, and you claim to be pure for the rest of your life. And then you end up pregnant at 18 because no one told you better. Anyways. Oh yeah, hey, I had a, no one's going to listen to this. I had a Bernie Sanders, meeting the other day, because I'm not all talk. And, and this is like an aside, but the person that ran the meeting during, like, this is a planning meeting for things we want to do to engage people and get people to vote and get people registered.
Yeah, and you're in a state that actually matters.
Somewhat. Your state matters way more.
Well, later on, but we're talking the primary, and right now the one to beat is Clinton.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he can pull it out. And that kills me.
Oh, he absolutely can't. So don't worry about that. But like, I still think there's a value in going out and trying to push for what the guy actually wants to see done.
Right.
And transferring a lot of that energy to lower ticket candidates is always a good move.
Yeah.
Because, the town I live in it's a Democratic town for the most part. And because this was an off-year election year, the town council is 100% Republicans plus Republican mayor.
God.
And it's like, this is a heavily Democratic town.
So
how did that just happen? Because no one shows out for Democratic primaries or Democratic for off-year elections in terms of Democrats. Like, they just don't come out. So, it's like, it's the Northeast. They're not going to do a crazy thing like, we're not going to become the new Wisconsin up here if we get a Republican governor. We're not going to, like, focus on trickle-down economics for the rest of our lives. It's not going to happen in this state. We're okay. But, like, there's still a value in going out there and supporting somebody whose message you believe in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm doing, even though I have no delusions about this. Everyone else, however, that I talk to is completely fucking deluded. They're insane people. They should be off somewhere where they can't harm themselves or other members of society. There was definitely one kid, and I wanted to have you and Three Toes here for this story, but there was one kid. We went to an event. This is separate from the meeting. I'll tell you that some other time. But we went to this event last week, and as it was winding down, this kid comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, can I borrow your phone? I just need to get a call about my ride." Let him borrow my phone, whatever. It's 2015. Most people have cell phones, but maybe this kid just isn't really trustworthy with one. Who knows? Gives it back to me eventually. He goes, "Do you have Verizon?" "Yes, I have Verizon." "You should get rid of it. It's run by the Koch brothers." And, like, at this point, I was fixing him with my best, like, incredulous stare. He's like, "Well, not the Koch brothers, but, like, a group of people that are like the Koch brothers. And they don't like Bernie Sanders, and they fight against the things he believes in. And you should switch to Credo Mobile."
What the fuck?
What? Credo Mobile?
Credo?
Yeah, Han shot first. Credo Mobile, or like, and he's like, "No, Credo Mobile. They're a social justice company that has, they're a social justice believing company, and they support what Bernie does, and like, that's nice. Where's your Credo Mobile cell phone?" It's like, where is it? Show it to me.
Yeah.
Whose house did you call with my Verizon phone versus your house? What house did you call with your Credo Mobile phone that you clearly have? And like,
God,
what the?
Terrible.
Why did he think that was a good idea? But then I noticed something about this guy. He refused to look anybody in the eyes, and he spent the entire night assuming that everybody who wasn't him was in control of everything else. Like,
paranoid schizophrenic.
He came up to my wife and I, and he's like, "Do you guys know when the next meeting will be? When you're scheduling the meeting?" And we were like, "This is our very first night here. Like, we are just here, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you." And he kind of walks away, and then he comes and asks us 4 more times, and each time we have to explain, we do not run this organization. Ask somebody who is in charge of anything. Like, it was bad. That kid was bad. As soon as he started talking, and he's like, "I'm in school," and I looked at my wife and I mouthed the name of a college nearby that specializes in children with different disabilities and disorders.
That's right.
He
That's
wasn't
right.
going there. I was kind of concerned. Uh, but yeah, like, oh man, people are like fucking nuts about this, and it worries me because it's the Ron Paul bullshit all over again in some ways. Like people who are absolute fucking true believers and just can't get off of it.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like the number of actual sane people, and of course everybody thinks they're sane. I mean, I'm sure somebody thinks I'm crazy too.
Hmm.
But the number of people, and and I think this is a subset that people who support Hillary, they think they fit into. They're like, oh, Bernie Sanders is unrealistic. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. He probably is. But that doesn't mean you stop pushing for it. Now, I mean, you have to acknowledge reality. You can't be like these people who are like the dude you're talking about, fucking full on social justice warrior, like fucking crazy denial of reality.
Oh
Bernie's
yeah,
gonna win, like, and if he doesn't, it's because the media is holding them down.
yep, yeah.
I mean,
that was the message.
Dude, he's not gonna win because this is America, and you can't be honest about what you believe in. You have to hold it back. You have to convince them that socialism is something that America came up with, and it's the best thing in the world because America came up with it, and we're Americans, and we're the best, and hey, look at this awesome shit that we just came up with because we're America. Oh, hey, did we mention that we're the best because we came up with this?
Did you see his speech today?
No, I didn't.
He had a speech on what democratic socialism is, and it was a really well done speech in terms of what the message was, which is basically like, listen, I'm not here to take over the means of production, which is a term he used multiple times. I'm
Right.
here because I want to see people having a basic standard of living that is, commensurate with us being the wealthiest, most powerful country in the world. On top of that, I'd like to see us, have government services and, hospitals and healthcare that works for everybody and, the basic things that we already know he thinks, but, like, he'd never been really given that platform. The last debate was, I think, his best chance to just, like, drop some of that information, and instead he got the fucking line of the night out of Hillary Clinton, which was the banks support me because of 9/11.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
God. She Rudy Giuliani'd it, man. She said
Yeah, she
fucking
did.
noun verb 9/11. Really?
That's
And nobody
She
called her
seriously
out on
did
it.
it.
Nobody fucking called her out on it. Noun verb 9/11.
I wish with everything I had that Joe Biden had actually run
Oh my
and
God.
been on that stage and had been able to say that
my
about
God.
her.
Oh my God.
8 years after he said it about Rudy Giuliani.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking
Yeah.
like I was literally nauseated when she said that. That and 60% of my donors are women.
Oh, that was the best line of the night.
I'm-
60% of my donors are women. Someone actually broke it down, and Bernie Sanders has more in terms of number of women actually donating to him. Like, but they don't make up a majority. So, oh well. But that, like, what did that have to do with anything?
Nothing. And that's the thing. That's why that's my main problem with her. There's no substance. It's all focus. It's all focus group tested bullshit. What's gonna sound great in a fucking soundbite.
I'm a progressive, but I'm a progressive who likes to get things done.
Exactly.
You fucking aren't.
And that, oh my God, I hate to be like petty, and I know this is petty, but her laugh is the most insincere, and soul-crushing, terrifying thing. Like, I feel like if somebody was performing open heart surgery on me while I was awake, like, that's the laugh that they would have while they were doing it. And as they tore out my still beating heart, that's the laugh.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good comparison because, like, it's definitely like, all right, Hillary, act human. No, not quite. Next, give it another shot. It's just.
And if you want proof that opposites attract, she's married the most charming and talented public speaker in the past fucking 40 years.
She's not married to Obama. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Yeah, see what I did there?
I mean,
Yeah,
come on, man.
I know.
Come on.
But
Like I listened
just
I listened to fucking Bill Clinton give a speech on it was it what? It was something that wasn't really exciting, and by the end of it I'm like, okay, Bill, all right, I'm there. Let's do it.
what else do you need me to do?
Yeah. Like
But
Jesus.
you know, she's she has a political machine behind her. She's going to be the next president. It's just kind of inevitable at this point, unless somehow one of the Republicans
Rubio's the
convinces somebody.
only threat.
Oh
I'm pretty sure.
no, he will get smacked down so hard for the shit he did in your state.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He spent all that money on the Republican credit card.
Oops.
Yep, oops.
Yeah.
But like, Jeb Bush has no chance because
He's
was
a
his
low
new
ener-
line?
he's a-
Jeb can
he's-
fix it.
he's
Jeb
a-
can fix it. Is his new line?
He's the low energy guy.
He's a low energy guy. Donald Trump hitting people on being low energy.
Oh my God.
Ben Carson talking about stabbing people, and then his campaign defending the fact that yes, he definitely tried to stab a guy. It's the funniest fucking thing. There is nothing the Republicans say, especially in the wake of Paris. There's nothing they can say that isn't the craziest thing. It's like they can't open their mouths without sounding insane.
Oh man. And okay, since we brought up Paris now, one of the things that really gets me is, as a country, we're all immigrants. Unless you're Native American, every single person is descendant of. Immigration has affected our country more than anybody. We have a fucking giant statue in New York that says, "Give me your weak, you're tired, you're hungry masses," except for the Browns. Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
that
no one
might,
wants
no,
the
no, no, no,
Cleveland Browns.
no, yeah,
Oh, it wasn't a football thing.
that was a joke. So, I mean, immigration's kind of a core American thing, and what strikes me is all of the hard-ass, tough, rugged individualists, I got guns on my guns on my guns type of people have overnight turned into the most giant pussies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
Yeah, they're afraid of the most. Like, the funny thing is, these people, the people coming into the country on these refugee visas and being brought in as refugees, have a 2-year vetting process.
I heard 18 months, but either way, that's
It's
a fucking
close.
long vetting process.
That is a really long time when you're living in a fucking refugee camp in the middle of fucking Jordan, and getting attacked and fleeing your home country, and you're going across these borders and getting here and getting there and paying these guys all the money you have in the world to get you across a border, and then you're like, well, the U.S. doesn't want you right now because you came from Syria. Like, really, motherfucker? Like, holy shit, really?
Yeah, man.
Like, a little bit of compassion.
Yeah.
My state actually took in a Syrian family that was supposed to go to Indiana because the governor there is like, I don't think we want to do that.
You know my favorite thing about all the governors being like, oh no, well, we're not going to take any immigrants. You know the best thing?
What's that?
Immigration's a federal issue, so they can all get fucked.
Yeah, actually, Obama had a conference call with them today explaining that they can't really influence that. They should stop saying they're going to
man, I could see that conference call. Hey, guys, let me be clear. You guys are all fucking idiots.
Yo, lately, lame duck Obama has been best Obama as of late. Because just, like, ripping on Republicans about, like, oh, they had tough debate questions. That must be really tough. I'm so sorry. And then next day, oh, these guys are, the first they're complaining about really hard debate questions, now they're really worried about 5-year-old girls and widows. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think
We just burned this down, motherfuckers.
I think 2% of the refugees are military-age males.
Yeah, it's, I think I saw a thing that was like 20% were between 18 and 35 or something like that. And that's like, okay, fantastic. That's 20%. Like, how many other age groups you got? Like, what do you want? And
we're a country. Okay, so let's say that just one out of those 10,000 people is bad, and he goes and he shoots up. Let's say like Paris, He does that. He does that, and he gets 100 people. We've still saved 9,999 decent people.
Yeah,
I mean, you've still done a net
reducing
good.
it to numbers. Reducing it to numbers, I think, doesn't help the argument in a lot of ways because you're just saying, hey, because we saved X number of people, those people whose had family members that were killed or injured, they should be happy.
No,
Like
no,
that. That's
no. But I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing with a soldier that's lost in war. The argument is, well, hey, we've done something great for these people, the people of Iraq. Well, I mean that didn't.
Yeah,
really,
you're gonna have to go back
Um,
to World War II.
yeah.
We did a lot of good for the people of Grenada.
Oh God.
Definitely need to invade that
You
country.
see, that's the thing, man. Like just talking about.
We helped Nicaragua out by selling guns to the Iraqi or the Iranians, actually missiles, and then letting the Contras sell drugs. So clearly, we helped Nicaragua. Let's see what else. Like, look, the funnier thing, and I'm going to give it this, is that immigration policy. We're accepting 10,000 Syrian refugees, right? That's like, okay. We're accepting like 67,000 total refugees. And people are freaking out, but these refugees are taking our resources. They are not, because they are Syrian, they are not taking extra resources that the refugees were going to come in anyways are not already taking. Like,
Yeah.
you're not, like, you're not like spreading anything thin. This is 67,000 people total refugees, right? In this year.
We have 300
10,000
million
Syrians.
people.
Yeah, what the fuck? We're approaching 400 million people in the country. The country's aging and not reproducing because why the fuck would you have children? But
a fair amount of these people have skills and jobs.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't all. Syria wasn't a third world nation. They were second world.
no, I mean the Soviet Union.
Right. I mean, what? But
third
anyway,
world's a confusing term.
Anyway, the people who are escaping Syria are the ones who had money, which presumably means they had a skill of some kind.
Yeah,
So you're getting basically the middle class of another country. Not a bad thing.
no, and it's I think it's difficult for people to understand that when you see what, and we're gonna have this conversation every time there's a shooting. Like, should we ban white people, Arnold, because white people keep shooting up places?
Clearly. Yep.
Yeah, we should ban white people.
Yep.
We're not going to ban guns because an innocent gun was used to shoot 32 children.
The cognitive dissonance is just astounding.
Oh, yeah, and actually the funnier thing was like you worship in the Bible Belt, it's like
yes,
you worship a Middle Eastern family who was turned away.
I saw a meme. It says, "Oh, make sure you celebrate the nativity scene," which is about a Middle Eastern family of refugees who were denied a place to stay.
Yeah, and while that does simplify the story because Joseph and Mary were coming back for a census, not refugees.
Right.
It's like this really good example of, hey, there's another one that was a comic of a pilgrim and an Indian coming face to face because Thanksgiving is upon us.
Oh God!
And the Indian saying, "Sorry, we don't accept refugees here."
Or I saw one that says, "Oh man, what if all these religious extremists decide to kill us?"
Yeah, all the religious extremists running, Kansas and Louisiana. God, Louisiana's governor's race is fucking alarmingly funny. But like, yeah, the whole thing is just so bizarre. Like, after September 11th, did we stop taking in refugees because we were worried about that?
Oh.
After 7/7, did we stop taking in refugees? After the Charlie Hebdo attacks, did we stop taking in refugees because we were worried about foreign people in the country?
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot of points that were made after the Paris attacks that, hey, you guys remember, that it's a lot easier to get here on a visa.
Yeah, visa.
Tourist visa or a student visa than it ever is to go through the refugee process. So are you really going to have a family of 4 living in a refugee camp going into the lottery to get into the country, going through the process, being vetted, and then when they get here, they're going to start a terror cell? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. However, if you're just like, here's my fake passport, okay, welcome to the U.S., that might be an issue.
Yep.
But
the whole thing is just surprise, more false outrage, and honestly, it's using fear. I mean, and that's what fucking disgusts me, because what ISIS wants is us to treat Middle Eastern people like shit. So they're like, oh, these Westerners treat us like shit. They can get fucked. I'm going to go join ISIS.
Yeah.
That's what
And
they want.
there was-
That's exactly what they fucking
It's
want.
their stated goal.
Yeah, there's
there
no
was
inference there. That's what they want. They've come out and they've literally said that's what they want.
There was, actually, just to bring the argument up. Hold on, I'm going to bring up the thing. There were 2 Iraqi refugees arrested in Kentucky. Yeah, here we go. 2013 ABC News investigation also revealed that several dozen other suspected terrorists. It's this whole thing. Why does everything think that I want to listen to their fucking video? Yeah, these guys were caught in 2010 in Kentucky with like guns and everything like that. FBI agent was in a sting operation to get them. So this did actually happen. It kind of blew up. It happened years ago, but there's 2 guys who were in the U.S. as refugees from Iraq. Actually, were planning some sort of a terror attack of some nature, and they were easily caught by the FBI because, the big thing that's coming out right now. This is, by the way, 2 out of, let's see, 40,000. Let's say average of 40,000 a year for the last decade. Like, 2 guys. You have a higher rate. You have a higher murder rate among U.S. citizens that are naturalized than you probably had from these 2 guys that were going to try to plan a terror attack among the refugee community. Like, it's not a common thing. I don't know. I just don't understand the fear and the reaction. It's the knee-jerk reaction that ISIS was definitely hoping for with this whole thing. So let's hope people don't fall into it that much.
They already have, what gets me is just they're. I mean, everybody's like, the United States is the strongest country in the world. Well, apparently not. I mean, that just, I really can't stress enough how little I think of people who say we need to not take the refugees. Because, number one, it's cowardly. It's just straight up, I'm a pussy, I'm afraid, that's it, period. That's all it is. And number two, and I touched on this before, we're America. Immigration is what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, the Irish, Mexico.
Actually, more Mexicans left the country last
year.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
But Irish, English, Dutch, French.
There were Canadian waves. Yeah, it's crazy. Germans.
It's part of who we are.
Yeah.
As a country, it is. There's nothing as American as somebody coming from another country and coming here and prospering. That's what we do. That is what we do.
And we're now afraid of having people do that.
Yeah.
And we're throwing out these bullshit arguments. Not only the well, they might hurt us argument. You can say that about any fucking person, man. You could turn to the guy next to you on the subway and he might try to stab you.
Yeah.
You can't stop somebody from being crazy once they've gone crazy.
Right.
You know? That's just like, are you going to take every person who's ever committed a crime and ship them out of the country because they've done bad things?
If only there were a process that we could put people through where we would look at them and decide if they were crazy or not. I mean, maybe we could vet them and call the process the vetting process. And we could make it perhaps thorough and take a period of time between 18 months and 24 months. I mean, that to me seems reasonable.
Let's have a knee-jerk reaction on this and have a vote on stopping all Syrian refugees.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Don't worry, our Congress will get right into making that law really make sense in the 111 days they're going to work next year. 111 days in a congressional session, so they can just basically make sure that there's no legislation passed under the last, year of Obama. God. Like, you wonder. You have to wonder if maybe we gave the morons too much power.
I think... I don't know. Something's got to give. Something really has to give, because I understand the premise behind the House of Representatives, but when you have the majority of the country agreeing that we need to go one direction versus another, and then you have the minority of the country, white people being a minority.
White people.
Anyway.
White minority.
Yeah. Basically saying... with the refugee thing, saying, "Hey, we're a bunch of fucking pussies." I really can't stress how much that infuriates me. The whole refugee thing. I haven't been this mad at politics in a while, because normally with politics, it's an abstract thing, like, oh, we're going to cut Medicaid, so poor people are going to get screwed, and that's going to happen, and okay. It's going to happen. I mean, but there's a number of people who are going to directly suffer as a result of this.
Yeah.
And
they're going to sit in refugee camps that are in no way adequate for longer, or not come into countries. You know what the funny thing is? France is not stopping its refugee program.
Yeah,
France.
The French, the ones that you were busy calling a pussy asshole. Yeah, apparently they have a bigger sack than we do.
Yeah, and actually, the thing that's getting trotted out right now is that last year Ted Cruz was saying take in more Syrian refugees, and now he's like, well, we should only take in Christian Syrian refugees.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what about, oh God, I forgot, Trump's Muslim database?
Oh, hold on.
Muslim
I can top
database?
you.
Hey, you know what?
I can top you.
Oh, no.
Wait for it. Ben Carson said there should be a database of all people. And he's surprised that a thing like that doesn't already exist.
Fuck. Hey, the Muslim database, maybe we could make them all wear special clothing, and we could put a patch on there of a crescent star.
Yeah, I think this is a good plan. Could we give them a number?
Yeah, we could give them a number that we would tattoo on their arms.
Oh, okay. Because they can't get rid of those.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I like this.
And then,
actually,
and then later on, I mean, we could basically put them into places where they could think really hard on things. They could concentrate, and we could call them concentration camps.
That's pretty good. That's a good plan. Can we also put them into areas that are kind of free but not really, and we'll cut off all supply lines and make life really hard?
You know what? You are on to something.
All right. So let me tell you something else now that we've done this extended Nazi metaphor. Someone actually asked Donald Trump today at a press conference if his suggestion of rounding up all the Muslims and identifying them and putting them in a database was maybe a little bit similar to the Holocaust. And his reaction to it was, "You tell me." And he said this repeatedly until he ended the press conference. He just refused.
I mean, he has to be trolling at this point.
Yeah.
He has to be fucking trolling. It has to be.
And the funny thing is, he's not going to lose any poll numbers because it's the Republican presidential primary.
Yeah. And it's just, oh, well, yeah, fuck them Muslims. They should have been born proper Christians.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and I hate to, pigeonhole a whole segment of voters, but if you support somebody who says there should be a database of fucking people so we can keep track of them, And these are the same people who compare Obama to Hitler.
Yeah. They're okay with this.
I just,
Listen, Obama's a Muslim Hitler Stalin who hates religion. Listen.
really, I think all our problems go back to the internet and letting crazy people link up with each other and realize or think that they're not crazy.
Yeah, I know that Star Citizen forum is fucking insane. They all think that game's gonna get made. So Fallout 4, inflammatory political speech. Anything else you want to talk about Fallout 4 before we end this, Arnold?
Fallout 4 is unironically Game of the Year 2015 for me, and I would be very surprised if anything. I can't think of anything this year that's even close to it.
Yeah, and you know the big thing is I saw a lot of people on the internet saying like, "Oh, this is a shit game," or the lines, "It's fun, but it's not a good game." It's like, no, motherfucker, it is
Don't
not
be a
one of those
contrarian
things.
dick. Yeah.
This is not one of those things where you go, "I give it a C plus. It's fun, but it's not great." Like, are you having fun? Are you here to play a video game, or are you here to read War and Peace in video game format? Like, what do you want? Do you want to have fun in your game? Do you want to have something that's going to contribute a lot of hours of entertainment to your life? Or are you just, like, here to fucking take every little piece of culture that comes in front of you and divide it into the smallest little bits you possibly can until you've atomized this thing, and then take each little part of it and then assess it personally and label and quantify every little bit of it? Like, can you just, for fucking 2 seconds in your goddamn life, just enjoy yourself?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand where this, like, need to view the game is like, well, it's a good game, but it's not a good Fallout game. Fuck you, you dumb motherfucker. I don't want to play a goddamn turn-based, isometric, tile set Fallout game right now. I want to play a first-person game that feels like it was made in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And we didn't even touch on how much better the shooting is compared to
God,
New Vegas.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
It is so, even compared to New Vegas, which did a lot of stuff well, like, it is so much better than New Vegas. It's so much better than Fallout 3. It feels really good. The guns all feel, like, nice and hefty, and, like, even if it does have some moments where you're like, I can't quite tell what I'm shooting at right now. But, like, that's mostly because, guns have kick. And if you put the right stuff on them, they don't have much kick. And you can just, like, basically fire like it's an automatic. It's pretty good. Like, the gunplay, was one of the things they said they really wanted to improve on was gunplay, and they did a good job on that.
I mean, I couldn't think of something that Fallout 3 or New Vegas did better.
Yeah.
So far, yeah. I mean, and I'm a
New Vegas fanboy.
I'm actually. Give me a sec. I noticed how many hours I had put into it today. Give me a sec. 63 hours.
In Fallout 4?
In Fallout 4, 63
Damn.
hours.
I've only got 21.
Oh my god. Oh, that's bad. That's 2 weeks. Dude, that's 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's
what have you done?
It's good. And I'm still nowhere near done with all of it or much of it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, I have been building settlements a lot, so...
Yeah, I'm going to get more into that, because you get XP for basically everything.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, is just like, you built a building, congratulations, here's some XP. And you can just, if you really wanted to, you could level your way up through XP, or through building. You can level your way up through fighting things. You can level your way up by picking locks or hacking computers. Like, everything you do is there to progress your character or the story in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Join the Brotherhood of Steel. Become the General of the Minutemen.
Mm-hmm. And your side quest people are, so far everybody I've met has been really interesting.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. Dog Meat, I want him to be something I can clip through, but that's about it. I'm sure there will be a mod.
Yeah, that's pretty much my only complaint.
Yeah, there's already mods out there for a lot of stuff, and it's pretty interesting stuff. Somebody has craftable ammo as a mod.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
like
if you really need
like
to,
the New Vegas.
like New Vegas had.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are that may be the only thing I think New Vegas there was a step back from New Vegas was the inability to just straight craft ammo if you had the capacity for it.
Yeah.
Um, that didn't really like early in the game. You could basically like uncraft your 9mm and then craft them up again. It's like, oh,
Right.
fantastic!
And we
Thank
didn't
you.
even really touch on the game economy, and I think it's probably the best balanced game economy I've ever played, because normally at this point in the game I'm rich. Like, oh, I see that. Oh, my guy will buy everything.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's still a moderate struggle for things. I'm just now kind of getting to the tipping point where, oh, I just bought 400 rounds of 10mm ammo, so I'm gonna go Rambo on everything. So I'm just now getting to the point where I've got a lot of ammo. So
yeah. I'm in the stage of the game where I'm like 1,000 bottle caps. That's pretty good, and
right.
I'm buying stuff, but then I go and buy a stim pack, and I'm like, that's still a lot of money for a stim pack. But not like you can't craft those things pretty easily, anyways. Because like,
And you can sell them, craft
yeah,
them, and
you
sell
can.
them.
Yes, you can. That's actually one of the things I really appreciated about the game is they made crafting a lot simpler. Because like in New Vegas, to craft the stim pack, you needed like a syringe and surgical tubing and blood purge.
But my realism.
Yeah. Oh God, the people who freak out over immersion, they're the best because they're yelling about like, but when it goes to third person, when I'm talking to a person, I lose my immersion. When a building doesn't place perfectly down, I lose my immersion. And it's like, dude, I hate to tell you this, but your immersion doesn't mean shit as long as the game's actually fun to play.
Yep.
Like, as long as the game's giving you content and it's fun to play, I don't give a fuck about your
we didn't
immersion.
even touch on that your character has a voice.
Yes.
And
People
it's
are
actually
angry about that. People are angry about it.
The voice of I'm playing through as a girl character, and
Is it
the voice
Fem
is
Shep?
it sounds like FemShep, kind of.
Is Jennifer? I don't think Jennifer Hale did the voice for that.
But
that
or
character.
it's a voice close to it, but I like it. It's good. There's feeling in it. It's really the voice is really well acted. There's a line where you meet somebody and you can be sarcastic and you're like, in 100 years when I die, I hope I go to hell so I can murder you again. And but the way she says it, it's great. It's great. Like you can just taste the disdain and the hate. Yeah, it's good. Like, I mean,
actually, by that standard, both characters do a really good sarcastic voice. Like,
yeah,
the guy,
I haven't really. I mean, obviously, I haven't done a male playthrough. I mean, I usually do a good playthrough and then I do a bad one. And I'm gonna do the bad one.
Well, there's no
male
karma in this game,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
people are angry about that. But that's fine by me because there was shit in that game where it's like in New Vegas. My biggest gripe with New Vegas in the early game, especially, was when you were trying to like get to a good standard. If you took shit from guys who were trying to kill you, it still counted as stealing, even if they were all dead. And it's like, you lost karma. It's like, is there any way to get karma in this game? I don't think there's a good way.
I always had a problem getting low karma, because there are only so many good people you can kill. So, but then again, another thing I like about Fallout 4, it takes, I don't know if it took directly from the mod, but there was a mod for Fallout New Vegas that called like Wasteland War or something like that. It added basically groups of factions like Brotherhood of Steel or Caesar's Legion or whatever that would run into each other, and there'd be fights and they'd run into you or whatever, and it made the whole landscape more immersive. And that happens all the time in Fallout 4. Like before I got on the podcast, ran into the group of Brotherhood of Steel people fighting a group of super mutants who were fighting a fucking Deathclaw.
Yeah, I've run into a couple of those things. I really love the sound design in the game for that reason, because you'll just be wandering around and you'll hear like pop, pop, pop
Oh,
in the distance.
the sound occlusion.
And you're like, I'm going to go find out what that is.
I
and
thought it was just ambient sound, and then you realize, it's a bite.
Yeah, someone was actually using the Fat Man in the distance at one point. And so I hear pop, 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 and then I just see mushroom cloud, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go see what that's about. You can never have too many Fat Men.
Yeah, not the first time you said that.
No, not at all. So,
all right, well, I
think that's...
You ready to drown this baby? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Let's put it underwater. All right, well, hour and almost a half here.
Wow.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we really like Fallout, and really
and
like
politics.
Refugees too, pussies.
Yeah, Refugees are pretty good people.
Yeah.
All right, let's kill this. Say goodnight, Arnold.
Born ready, roll tide.
Roll Tide.